It doesn't seem like there's any way that I can get pre-approved for a home loan. And I understand that you hate VA loans. Can you clarify as to kind of why you hate VA loans so much, and also what your best advice is to me?
Hate might be a strong term, but number one, the VA loans are more expensive with fees and interest rate than any of the big three, FHA, VA, or conventional. Number
Okay.
two, VA loans, the reason most people gravitate towards a VA loan is you can get as you can get a house with nothing down,
Yeah, and that's
which
kind of
means
what
you're
was
too
drawing
dead
me
gum
to it.
broke to buy a house.
Okay.
When you
Yeah,
buy a
I
house
get
with
that
no
description
money,
then.
a house is not a blessing.
Okay.
And so
Okay.
because
So
the air conditioner is going to go out next week.
okay.
So I want you to
So
have a house. I just don't want it to have you. So that's the reason. It causes people to buy a home when they're in a position of weakness rather than strength. So what I would tell you to do is rent the least expensive thing that you can, and let's work on your career and work on your goals and build up some money.
Dave's rude. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. On today's video, I'm going to be going over VA loans. One of the subscribers on the channel wanted me to give my opinion on if VA loans are good or bad, because Mr. Ramsey has stated that VA loans are not good because, in his opinion, they're more expensive than the other loans. And number two, because you're broke and you shouldn't be buying a house if you're broke. If you guys call Dave, I guess you got to listen to him talk to you crazy, because I don't think I could deal with Dave. He's rude. We're going to get into some pros and cons, and hopefully it helps you get enough information to either move forward in your home buying process or to ask the right questions with the lender that you know, like, and trust. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Robert, and on this channel, my goal is to simplify the home loan process. My contact information will be pinned in the top comment section and in the description below. If you have a question or if you'd like to see a certain topic addressed, get down in the comment section, let me know, and we'll do our best to make a video that answers your question. So let's dig a little deeper and answer the question of VA loans being good or bad for those of you that might want to use it. Okay, guys, let's get into the pros. The first thing I want to say about VA loans is there's no down payment. And regardless of what anybody is saying, that is a pro, especially today with the elevated cost of insurance and taxes. The least amount of money one would have to bring to close is a benefit to help those of you get onto the property ladder when using a VA loan or any type of loan, because you have closing costs. So the VA loan gets rid of the down payment portion, and you or your realtor in the negotiations with the sellers can just deal with the closing costs. Number two, there's no private mortgage insurance. With 100% financing, there's no private mortgage insurance. That's a pro, okay? Regardless of what anybody says, because that's another savings monthly that helps you afford the home while you continue to move forward or progress in life, like he was mentioning to the young man, although he was doing so very rudely. I can't stand Dave and his rudeness. That's crazy. I digress. Number three, the guidelines. Flexible guidelines to help veterans get into homes. Not veterans that can't qualify, not veterans that don't have the money to pay for the monthly mortgage payment and the maintenance that comes with owning a home. Not that. But there are very flexible guidelines to help those of you that have earned your right to use this benefit. Last thing I'll say on the pro side, and I don't know where Dave is getting his numbers from, but my VA loans are always some of the best price loans when I juxtapose them to FHA conventional. For sure, blowing regular conventional loans out of the water, unless you're a first-time home buyer and doing a home possible, home ready, something of that nature. So those are my pros that I would address with the VA loan. And so we want to be balanced. Let's look at some cons, because we don't want to be one-sided. So the flip side to that, the con would be the funding fee, okay? if you don't have a 10% or greater disability and your first time use or subsequent use, it could be a hefty funding fee, a percentage that's multiplied times your loan amount, and that amount has to be paid. That's the insurance that allows everybody that's doing a VA loan to help mitigate losses and all of the programs that are in place to help if there's hardships and things of that nature. It is what it is. Nothing's free. Now, you don't have to pay for that up front in cash. You can roll that into your actual loan amount. And so that could be looked at as a con. But what I tell my veterans is this: again, if you're buying the home for the right reasons and looking to live in it long term, then those things tend to work themselves out if you don't qualify for the exemption. Sellers and some realtors, hopefully we've done a lot better job, but there's a negative stigma sometimes with sellers from the standpoint of it's going to be more difficult to deal with a VA buyer. But in my opinion, that's just those folks that have bad representation as far as their realtor or their agent is concerned, and the listing agent. You're doing a disservice. These myths with appraisals are myths. I mean, there's minimum required safety features on conventional appraisals as well as FHA, VA, so on and so forth. And it always kills me, right? Everybody acts as if they love veterans and all this kind of stuff. But whenever I go to games, the veterans are always in the nosebleed. Let's honor our U.S. military, and they're in the cheap seats. And then when it comes to you selling your home, it doesn't always show that you love the veteran. And don't get me wrong, it's not that you should bend over backwards and just do what someone wants you to do because they were in the military, but I'm just saying it's a point. And so make sure you have the proper representation, because there's a lot of sellers out here that go online. There's still a lot of bad information, and they get bad information, and that might cause you to have a more difficult negotiation and or miss out on a home because of the negative stigma that VA loans have, and you have a tougher time with some sellers. And then again, any loan, not just VA loans, because now there's conventional loans that you could get 100% financing. If you're a first-time home buyer, when you look at some of the programs, USDA loans, 100% financing. The reason those loans are existing is because folks don't have the money, not because you're broke. You know what I'm saying? That's not the case. I know folks that make six figures. They have a couple of kids and stuff is expensive, and they have the ability to pay and maintain the home, and they have a little runway as far as savings are concerned, but they just don't have a ton of extra money to save up 20%, Dave. Everybody can't do it, right? But it behooves them to get on the property ladder. But again, Dave, he gets under my skin sometimes. Let me back up. But the zero equity is a potential con. So anytime you buy a house, regardless of the loan type, 8 years, that's my new number, 8 years, because real estate is a long-term play, and it's really pegged to inflation. And so a lot of folks that have bought over the last couple of years, especially new construction, these builders and these so-called incentives, they've pulled forward appreciation from 27, 28, 29, and 2030. And then if you have to get out and sell that house, you up the creek and you have to bring money to close, because ain't nothing free. Okay. So for all of you guys out there that are going with new construction and you think you're getting these great rates and the builder bought down the rates, you paid for it. Okay. You paid for it, and you make sure that you're going to stay in the house long enough to build an equity position so that if you have to sell, you don't have to come out of your pocket, because that's happening a lot. So those are the pros and the cons. And again, love Dave, right? Dave is great, in my opinion, or Mr. Ramsey is great. No, bump that. Dave is great, in my opinion, for when you're starting out, basics, right? You got to get that emergency fund. We got to pay stuff off. But at some point in time, Dave's information is archaic, and he's going to keep shouting and blowing that trumpet because that makes Dave a lot of money. I'm not mad at him, okay? But if you have your VA certificate of eligibility, if you've earned that right, you owe it to yourself to look at all of your options. And that's where I'm going to end, because if you're dealing with a lender that you know, like, and trust, they should be able to present to you the best loan for you and your family at the time that you're looking to move forward. or present the options to you so that you have the information to make the best decision for you and yours. So that's where we'll leave it. I won't be rude, right? Try not to do the things that I don't like. And so, Mr. Ramsey, we appreciate you. We appreciate all the help that you've given to people over the years. But on this one, I respectfully disagree, right? So there you have it, guys. It's Father's Day Eve, I believe. For all the fathers out there, salute to you. You're necessary. We're necessary, regardless of what people say or think. And remember, man, if you're a father, you really appreciate it after you're gone. Unfortunately, that's what it is. So 10 toes down, keep doing what you do, because we need all of you out there that are playing your position. I salute you. Enjoy your day. And until the next time, y'all be blessed.